Yo, 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 welcome to another
What's
episode of
up?
Starlight Beacon here,
Yeah,
Black Friday, on the eve
Black
of
Friday.
episode 13 coming out. Man,
Yeah, man. The
chapter 13.
Ahsoka review.
Yeah, the Ahsoka episode, man. It's the big episode. This is the episode everybody, all the hardcore Star Wars fans been waiting on, man. We've been waiting to get this reveal. But
And
before we get too heavy into this, well, first, how you doing? Well, do you want to do an introduction? We got a special guest tonight.
yeah, we got a special guest. We can do that intro. We can bring him on.
All right, introducing P. Rich to the show.
P. Rich
Welcome,
in the
sir.
house. Came by to have some gumbo tonight. Hey,
Came by to have some gumbo on this wonderful Black Friday day after Thanksgiving.
AKA first Christmas.
Absolutely, first Christmas.
Yep.
And man, yeah, we got a lot. Star Wars fans got a lot to be thankful for today, boy.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah,
Yes.
Ahsoka was. She was
Got
looking
it.
good.
Live action.
I
Yeah.
know. Hey, man, the
didn't
first,
disappoint.
yeah.
Not at all. Not at all.
I think that was, the biggest
What
thing
up?
for me, for this episode was that the episode hit the ground running. It wasn't like this really drawn out, like, I didn't, you know how it is, but on Mandalorian, he steps into a town and he's doing all, you know what I mean? And it's like, I'm glad they kind of just went like, let's show Ahsoka. Let's just get it out there, guys, and just like jump in. And I'm happy that they didn't have to go through this whole waste 20 minutes and building it up. And it's just
Yeah,
Absolutely.
because we already knew. We knew who she is. We knew who she
exactly.
is. You know?
And before we get too deep into it, man, make sure y'all drop a like on the video and subscribe if you haven't already.
Subscribe,
and please
share, talk about it.
rank this episode 1 to 10. What do you give this episode? Let us know in the chat, man. Drop that.
I didn't give the JBM rank.
Yeah, man, we gotta get these rankings. We gotta get these rankings.
We gotta come up from last week. They improved from last week.
Yeah, let's see. We got Imani in the chat. Imani,
what's happening?
Yeah, man. Heem,
what up? What up?
Yeah,
they did good with her character.
Yeah, they did. I liked it.
Yeah.
She
had some creases in the side of her. I was like that. They look like costume creases. But
yeah, I mean, it's definitely. I'm not even complaining because here's the thing. I'm used to Ashley Eckstein's voice, right? Because she voices Ahsoka in the Clone Wars. But once Rosario started talking, it sounded like Ahsoka.
Yeah,
Rosario, and her movement and her mannerisms, and I was like, all right, she bodied it. I got to give this a 10.
I gotta give this one a 10. I gotta give this one a 10, bro. I give it a 9.5 just for the creases.
It's not only for the fact that we got Ahsoka, it's for the other things that we got in there, like all the other Easter eggs that we got.
That was a big reveal toward the end, man.
Yeah.
We'll get to that.
Yeah.
We'll get to that.
Yeah, Daniel's in the chat. He gives it a 9.7.
Okay, interesting.
Heem, that's got to be Heem's highest score.
It is
today for Amani.
Yeah, I think I'm in there with
9.9.
Mog 9.9. Got Coop Daddy Yoda. Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely would give it I think I would give it a 9.5. Yeah.
I
like that. And you know what? I'm just gonna be the person that's I'm gonna give it an 8.5. How about that?
8.5. Oh Lord.
Well,
he's gonna be the one.
Here's a little bit of reasoning behind mine is because I'm still kind of still fresh on the whole Clone Wars. I didn't go full blown. I still don't have that. I know how important her character is, but I still don't have that real super, connection that most fans have with her. I'm still new to the whole Clone War franchise and getting into that whole thing. And then also I just felt the episode 2 still was kind of, it still had that Mandalorian vibe. I mean, the show is Mandalorian, and I felt like that, still needed to be some. I mean, it gave us a lot of good Easter eggs and stuff like that, but it didn't give us some good that story. We're still on a story with that Moff Gideon, and I still am wanting to see that play out. And it just when it got to the end of the episode, and I was like, that's also one thing. I love how long the episode was because I looked through and I was like, oh man, we still got 20 more minutes of this. Like heck yeah. It just leaves her, and I was just like, it felt like almost. I was telling Julian about that. I was like, I felt like it was just a kind of the backdoor pilot to her own series because she's looking for her own, and she's looking for her own stuff. And I was like, I like that, but also I'm just like, I wish they would have just made this season longer. How about that? And it's like, so we could just because I just don't know how they're going to draw out. I just don't know how they're going to expand Mandalorian into like. It has to be like a limited series. It's going to have to probably last one more season.
You gotta go. They gotta go hardcore into the Mandalorian arc, like because we gotta go back to Mandalore. Like we gotta get the Mandalorian.
That's going to be season 3 though. That's going to be season.
Like we gotta we have to get them to retake Mandalore because Moff Gideon is probably still governing Mandalore at this point in time. Because Mandalore has always been an independent system. Like they weren't a part of the Republic nor the Separatists. They've been independent. So like after the Empire took over, like, and then we got to know more about the Purge. Like we got to see more about Bo-Katan. She's supposed to get a spinoff series. Boba Fett's supposed to get a spinoff series. Ahsoka is supposed to get a spinoff series.
MCU with Star Wars.
What was up with that Boba Fett appearance? I mean, like you show me him once,
because that was a backdoor pilot too. But I think we'll see Boba Fett again.
Or a tease to her.
It was definitely a tease. I think. Here's the thing: Jon Favreau has said multiple times that Boba Fett is his favorite character in Star Wars.
Okay,
this is his show, so I don't believe that that was the last we'll see. Boba Fett
do you think that Boba Fett was also in season 1 then on that episode of where he when he went back to Tatooine in the first season and he had to go hunt what was the Asian character's name? That one assassin.
Yeah.
And at the very
he walked
end,
up and picked up
at the very end was just the black boots. And so
people Spurs, said you can hear the Spurs on his
And so people said that was Moff Gideon, but I'm like, I don't think that was Moff Gideon. That was Boba Fett. You think that was Boba Fett?
Here's the thing. It was either Boba or it was Cobb Vanth, because Cobb does have would have had the armor at that point in time, but I don't. It could be Boba because one, Cobb only has the chest piece and the helmet. So like the like the pants and like the boots and all of that, like Boba probably still has. Like we don't know how
much of the armor he has. Yeah.
Right. And so the fact they only showed his feet basically because he's walking and you can hear the spurs that like we hear in like the original trilogy. That's like iconic for Boba.
Yeah,
that was definitely Boba Fett. Bro. That was Boba Fett.
Yeah, and then we don't see the what's her name? We don't see the assassin in Freetown with Cobb.
No,
like I feel like they would have shown her in some capacity, like where she would have to be in like prison or something. Like I think,
but she was dead though, right? I thought or was she just knocked out?
She was dying.
Oh, she was dying. Gotcha.
I think we're gonna see that character again. Yeah. Okay. I think we're gonna see that character again. And it might be in the Boba Fett series.
That would be awesome. That would be great.
Her, I would love to see her and Boba team up.
Yeah, that'd be great. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, sit down today.
Yeah. All right, but let's continue on this episode though. Like,
I just want to say this episode felt like I was playing Ghost of Tsushima.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was. That's exactly what I was getting to.
It felt like a mission out of. I was thinking the same thing. It felt like a mission out of like Knights of the Old Republic. Like I landed on this planet, and it just felt like. And then when he's walking through the town, and it's like so and so wants to see you before you go around, and like and they send you off to go do whatever quest. And I was just like, man, this just feels like I'm playing like Knights of the Old Republic, and you land on one of these planets or something like that. Yeah. I totally get it.
It does have that quest feel, like that video game, like RPG quest, like the whole series does. It just feels like an RPG game. Like this is exactly how. And what I love about it, about how they the portrayal of Ahsoka, like that samurai Eastern theme just works with it when it comes to the Jedi. Like it just works. Like it doesn't matter who the Jedi is.
I mean, they were inspired from that, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's why it works, because that's the inspiration for it. It's the
I love seeing those dual white lightsabers.
That the aesthetic, man, like the cinematography, her in the smoke, like in that night, and her smoke and shadow effect, like man, it was great.
Her disappearance. Well, that one where she she does it like that. But it was just like,
see, that's a scene from Rebels. Like she does that.
Oh, she does that. Oh, well, it looks like she's on the TV, like, you know what I mean? Like a forest. It looked tight. I was like, whoa.
I actually wrote that down as a note.
Yeah, that was awesome.
That was dope.
Yeah, that was dope, man. So like,
I think this series, out of every series that I've seen, Jedi fighting and things like that. I mean, I love Duel of Fates. I love, like, you know, both the Maul fight and Obi-Wan and Anakin fight. But I think this is the best I think I've seen. Other than also Rogue One, when Vader is walking down that hallway and he's just like killing all those guys.
That carnage, Vader carnage scene is just like,
you know what I mean? But like, I think this has to be one of the best, like, Jedi, just live action. You're seeing force jumping, you're seeing force speed. Like when you see that POV of her going through like this and it goes up to the dude, I was just like, you know, I really enjoyed it. It was great.
I think it's that opening scene, the fight, the combat where she's fighting the troops outside the city, like that was a great. I mean, the way that was shot and the camera angles that they use, and like I loved all of that. One of my biggest likes about this was when she and Mando fight, when he's tracking her down and she strikes that Beskar and it doesn't give. I was like, man, I've been waiting for this for forever. Like that just it does such a good job of show you the power and the resilience of the Beskar, and like why the Mandalorians developed it.
And why they were the ancient enemies. Yeah, exactly. And it was just amazing.
Because they previously, before they encountered the Jedi, they just used Durasteel like any other like troop, and then after they fought the Jedi for the first time, like they got washed by the Jedi, like, and then they went back to Mandalore and developed the Beskar armor and all the technology.
Now, is that metal only? Yeah. Oh no, sorry. Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, the jetpack, the flamethrower, like the repulsor, and even that grappling hook, that
all the gadgets and stuff.
All of that, all the technology was all to develop to take down Jedi.
Now, is that metal exclusively to Mandalore? Is that like their planet's resource? You know what I mean?
Yeah. So Beskar is you can only get Beskar on the moon of Concord Dawn.
Where's my Lord God?
yeah. It's
and where's that a moon at? And that's a moon.
It's in the Mandalorian. It's the moon that orbits Mandalore. One of the moons.
Okay, cool. Oh, walk us through the beginning. Let's go through this episode.
Okay, so let's get this walkthrough. So we get that opening fight scene, which is beautiful. And then Mando arrives on the planet, and he goes to the city. And I did like this dialogue when he walks up to the gate. The dude is like, "Are you a bounty hunter?" And then he asked him, "Is he in the guild?" And he said, "Last time I checked."
Yeah,
I like that little. I like that back and forth, that dialogue.
And the guild is still a thing, right?
Yeah. They're just not operating on Navarro anymore.
All right.
Okay,
gotcha.
So then they go into the city, and then he's there. He's interacting with the townspeople. There's this one guy off the side of the street. Well, there's a vendor too that he walks up to, and as soon as he starts talking to him, like the dude just
bounce out. Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, cool, that's interesting. And then like there's the guy in the back alley like talking to some kids, and Mando walks up to him trying to get some information, and then the guards come up to him and escort him to the magistrate, her palace. She's back there. She's got that koi pond or whatever, that Star Wars koi pond. She's feeding her fish. Then we get that Beskar spear, which I think is we're definitely gonna see that in action very soon.
That staff is gonna be used to fight against Moff Gideon.
In his light.
The dark saber.
That's gonna be an epic fight.
Oh, that'd be tight. So do you think about when you say like that? Do you think his troopers they're trying to replicate, them to have like force abilities? So are they just replicating the force abilities, or are they also replicating like they're gonna also have like lightsabers and like what I mean?
So the thing about the Dark Trooper program, they were just droids, and like each one of them became more advanced. The Empire had a separate division called Shadow Troopers, and those were force sensitive clones that fought with like lightsabers. They were based on that early concept art of the Stormtrooper with the white lightsaber.
Oh yeah.
If you've ever seen the
original,
like the Stormtrooper, all the Stormtroopers were supposed to wield lightsabers.
I would have been tight. You know what? If I felt like that would have probably been a great. Everybody would have been like,
well, that was kind of the concept that George had, was like all of like it was basically like medieval times in space, and like everybody basically was kind of sort of proficient with a lightsaber or a laser sword, as he called it. And then
when that First Order, they kind of had something similar to a lightsaber. It was like, you remember in the First Order, they had that like little laser thing that like they could go against,
those electro those are similar to the vibro blades. Like those are also from the extended universe, like those electric weapons, and also because their energy, like some of the melee weapons that are energy imbued are like resilient to lightsabers. If you play KOTOR, the vibro blades can against a lightsaber. And then I think the Mandalorians had vibro blades and weapons made out of Beskar, and we see that the staff. So that's one example of it. And like that's again like another deep lore cut that they continue to pour into this show, which is why I appreciate it. And like the interesting thing about it is they were so afraid to do that in the sequel trilogy because they thought that it was going to go over everyone's head. And it's like, no, like what's going to happen is you're going to have people like me. You're going to have people like me watching, and then everybody else is like, yo, who is this or what is this? And I'll be like, bruh, here's what this is. This is why this is important. I couldn't do that in the sequel trilogy because I'm like, I don't know what, like, I like Jeddah, but I'm like, but is this like Ossus? I don't know, because we've seen that
Force dyad. What is that? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know, bro. I don't know what a Force dyad is. I can't help you. Like, that's they gonna have to explain it, and then they kind of do, and it kind of makes sense. So it's kind of like, is that necessary? Nah, not really. No. But anyway, I digress on that point. So the magistrate offers the Mandalorian the pike in exchange for killing the Jedi.
And I got a question actually about the magistrate. Is that her backstory? Is that strictly for the Mandalorian, or does her character exist outside of the show?
Not that I am aware of. I think that she exists for the show.
Okay, that's what I was wondering, because I was like, at the end, I know they were talking about her backstory with the characters from from the Clone Wars, but
Yeah, I mean, the name isn't one that's familiar to me, and she didn't appear in the Clone Wars animated TV show. Like, I mean, of course she was around during the time, but she's not someone that we've seen before in canon, unless she appeared in a comic that I'm not aware of, which is very possible. But to my knowledge, no, she's not. She's a new character.
Okay, yeah, it was interesting to hear that she was like responsible for the Imperial fleet.
That's an interesting thing, because I want to know in what capacity, because in the EU, Kuat drive yards that's the factories that built the Imperial fleet. Like they built and designed the Imperial Star Destroyers, and I believe they also made the battle cruisers for during the Clone Wars. So the Acclimator class and the Venators, that all came from Kuat.
Okay. Yeah, because I didn't know if her character popped up in those stories.
If she was like the president, like if she was the CEO of Kuat Drive Yards, like that would be fire. Like, because then that means that she has like, that would be a cool connection. Like I think Kuat is still canon, but like at least in the EU, like that was a major point for the rebellion. Like once the rebellion took Kuat Drive Yards, it was basically over because the Imperials couldn't make any more ships at that point. But yeah, like, and we find out later that she has a connection to Thrawn, which was like,
no,
what?
Yeah, that's why I asked. So she was never mentioned in the Thrawn books.
No. But I have a theory that we'll talk about once we get to that point in the story. Because I just finished Ascendancy last week, and that was amazing. There's a lot of things that are connecting. All of these
10% of 1,000, I think, or something like that. Like
no, 1%. Only 1% survived.
1% of
it was 10,000.
1,000 or 100.
10,000.
10,000.
Yeah, 1%.
Daniel made a good point. He said the village had droid tech, but their alarm was a banging gong.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that was more for aesthetic purposes. They had to
it was definitely for
showdown vibe.
Exactly. That was that Eastern gong once again, giving us that East Asia feel. Yeah.
Yeah. Auntie said crow's feet. We were talking about Ahsoka's
no, I think
headpiece.
As Heem said, it looks like crow's feet.
She had wrinkles, man. It was like straight out of Party City or something. I'm like, come on, man.
Oh man, the creases. Hey man, that's age. That's wrinkles, man.
That's her wrinkles. All right, her beauty marks. We'll call them beauty marks.
How she's in her 40s, mid 40s, technically by age, because she was 19 by season 7 of Clone Wars, and then that's 19 years between that and 4, and I believe there's 3. I think the original trilogy is 4 years, and then this is 6 years after. So yeah, she's not. It's almost 30 years. Almost 30 years later.
Okay. So the Mando, he leaves that village under the condition that he'll take out the Jedi, but he's really
implied,
using that to link up with it to finish his quest.
Yeah.
Right. And so they meet up, and then an interesting thing too that I want to point out, an Easter egg they put in, which that's not really Rebels. Yeah, kind of, sort of, but yeah, spoilers. Minor. This is a minor spoiler for Rebels. But when he's walking through the forest, there's a wide shot, and you can see an owl on a tree, and that's Morai, which is the.
I did see that owl, and I was going to ask about that. It was like
that owl is actually that's the daughter.
Donnie B, what up?
From the Mortis arc, like that's her. That's how she manifests herself in the physical plane.
Okay, I figured there was something about that owl because it just seems
he did that.
Like I was like, okay, that's got to be there. For a reason. At first, I thought it was Ahsoka using the owl to look and scout.
She has a strong connection to the owl because the owl watches over Ahsoka. Wherever Ahsoka is, the owl is there, and it's the spirit of the daughter. Because I mean, I think Ahsoka is like the light side of the Force, and kind of I think there's potential for Ahsoka to become what the daughter was in the Mortis arc.
Oh, really?
Because she gives her life to Ahsoka. That's her last act. Like she gives Ahsoka her last Force energy to. Yeah, this is Clone Wars. Clone Wars spoiler, my fault. Season 3. Last of her energy. Yes, season 3.
Oh, I've seen that. I must have forgotten, but yeah, okay.
Yes, this is the Mortis arc because Ahsoka is killed in Mortis, but the daughter brings her back to life with her dying.
I remember that.
Yeah, that's her final act.
Self-sacrifice.
Yeah, a selfless act, of course, like the light side. So iconic of the Jedi. Yeah, so then we get the confrontation in the forest with Ahsoka, and then that
buddy, that
fight
big moment,
scene.
lightsaber against Beskar.
Yeah.
The sound of it is like
Yeah.
that got me hyped.
Exactly. That was awesome because we haven't seen that in live action ever before. That was sick. Like, that just sets up the now I want even more. I want to see the Mandalorian Wars done in live action because if we don't get that series, because that will introduce us to Revan and Malik, and it'll also
imagine seeing them on
us,
screen.
Yeah, but see, they would be Jedi though. You know what I'm saying? Like this this is not the KOTOR story. This is the prelude to it.
Yeah.
So like
they still be tough though.
Oh yeah, like this is how they fall to the dark side. This is how they become Revan and Malik. Like, so they could even keep it like a secret, like, because we don't know what we know Malik's name is Alec, and Revan, they never revealed what his name was. So like you can actually give him a name and like we wouldn't really know who it is.
Can we pause for a second? I just made a connection. For like the past couple weeks, I've been hearing you say KOTOR, and I'm like, why have I never heard of this? And then I just in my mind said, no, yo,
oh my god.
And I think have you guys played like the MMO version of just Old Republic?
Coops played it.
KOTOR? Yeah, Coops I played all 8 characters, beat all 8 characters.
I've been playing the MMO for a little bit, just jumping on PC and stuff, playing it a couple times. But like, you know how they did
link up.
Yeah, we should. Have you seen the CG movies? You know those CG movies that they make for those?
Yeah, the cinematics.
Yeah, cinematics.
What? That's some of the best like Star Wars content we got in the last 40 years.
And I was thinking, I was like, even if you don't even have to make a live action movie. If you just made a movie with that looked just like that, I would be perfectly fine with like 2 or 3 movies, like a trilogy of movies that were based about, you know, the whole Mandalorian wars and everything like that.
And
you know,
CGI like that was?
No,
CGI like that. Yeah.
No, listen, the Mandalorian wars were 16. That was a 16-year conflict. I don't want a movie. Give me a TV show in the Mandalorian wars. Like I want.
Well, they would have
to
go like. They have to go the Clone Wars looking way, dude, for that cheap way.
No, they can do it. They can do it on the volume. Shoot it on the volume. Save money. Shoot it on the volume. Like, you don't think people will pay to see that?
People would pay.
Come on now. Like, especially with the tease that we just got in this episode. Like, can you imagine armies full of Mandalorians? And they had those basilisk droids that were basically like mechanized war horses, and they had like their armor allows them to travel in space. So like they would just put their dreadnoughts in orbit above a planet and then descend on these basilisk war droids, like riding on top of them. And like it, like why would you not want to see that? Like
I'd love to see a whole battalion of Mandalorians,
just jetpack descending down onto a planet surface. Like, like Vikings. Like no, who doesn't want to see that? And then they go head to head against the Jedi with that like the Beskar armor and the weaponry. Come on,
game over.
Right. And they fight by whatever means necessary. That's why the Jedi end up falling to the dark side, because they couldn't. They had the Mandalorians fought with all these guerrilla tactics, and like, you know, the flamethrowers, like watching one of your fellow Jedi Knights fall, like getting burned alive. Like it was a gruesome war that eventually led to all the Jedi falling to the dark side, including Revan.
All the Jedi.
Yeah, all the Jedi that joined Malik and Revan in that campaign, they all fell to the dark side. They became Dark Jedi, and that's where we see them in KOTOR. Like all the Jedi, all the Dark Jedi and Sith Lords that we see in the KOTOR game, they all are veterans from the Mandalorian Wars. They all served under Revan. Yeah, that's the Jedi Civil War.
Who could play Revan and Malik?
Keanu Reeves for Revan. Off rip.
Do we know? Did they give him a look though?
Yeah, and in SWTOR they give him a look, and he looks like Keanu Reeves.
Okay.
There's a flashpoint There's a
You said
Flashpoint that you
Revan?
can play. Yeah. Type in SWTOR Revan, and you will see.
Oh, I
They
think
could
I
totally do
Kiana
that.
right up beside him. Oh, he do look like Kiana. He got different color lightsabers.
I'm just used to Revan looking like a black man because that's how I designed
Right.
him.
Because you did yeah.
That's how I played him.
Hold on, let me get it up on screen.
Yeah, pull that up. It's not coming up. That ain't clear. This man had a red and purple saber.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, there's so much there's so much that they can do and explore now. And I feel like they are going to. There
Who could play Malik?
Gotcha.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, that would be an interesting pick for Malik. But I mean, Malik is bigger than Revan is. So like he'd have to be tall.
Yo, Malik.
And
Why they got Malik looking
physical.
so diesel, man?
Because he's a
Rock.
big dude. Like he's like Vader.
Yeah.
He's like Vader. So yeah, I definitely want to see that. I mean, yeah. Let us know in the comments too if y'all want to see the Mandalorian Wars in live action. Like, like, do you want a series or would you rather have a trilogy? Because my vote is a series. Like, give me a show, live action TV show.
Yeah, I'll take it.
The Mandalorian Wars. Yeah, like I'm riding on this train that the Star Wars can live on Disney Plus in the form.
They could. I mean, yeah.
I would definitely go for that.
And I think that's what they're doing. I think they're setting up their own like, what's it? How
MCU,
Flash and Arrow. Well, no,
MCU.
Arrow, like the Arrowverse. You know what I mean? But it's in the TV.
Filoni. It's the
Filoniverse.
Yeah,
Filoniverse, man.
Exactly. Yeah. And if they just keep coming, because I'm trying to think of like what else. I mean, of course they're going to set up Ahsoka. Ahsoka's going to have her own TV show, but are they going to? You thinking about Bo-Katan? They're going to have her own show too because she's trying to take back Mando. You know what I mean? So
she has yes, like that. We have to see yes.
Do you see those as a full series, or you think that's like one season of her doing that?
It could be like the Kenobi series. Like it could just be a mini series. Like I think that one is supposed to be like 6 episodes or something, and it's like one season. I'll be down for that. Like or they could just incorporate her into the show. The only thing is like if you add Bo-Katan into the Mandalorian, you're really going to have to make Din Djarin you're going to have to beef him up because like Bo is a beloved character already, and like she's going to steal the spotlight from him. Like everybody who's watched the Clone Wars, like the minute she popped up on screen, like everybody lost interest in Din.
Well, I think Din's gonna. I think his character's gonna die. I think he's gonna be killed off.
Possibly.
Bo-Katan and then will carry the torch.
Yeah. The interesting thing about Din Djarin is that he seems to have a knack for uniting people. Like he does the thing with the if we go back to the Tatooine episode, the Marshal, when he's with the Tusken Raiders, and like he's sitting there talking to the Tuskens in their language, like he's got this like a bit like he has natural like leadership abilities, but they just gotta like beef that up a lot more.
Yeah, you know, and one thing they don't do anymore is that they don't do the whole
like he should be the leader.
Yeah. I like that. I like that he can bring all these people together, and I just don't know if that's just a characteristic they just gave him just for the show, you know, his purposes to bring, you know, to have that whole Dirty Dozen type of thing at the end. But like, you know, because at the first episode, it just seems like, you know, he's just like this ice cold savage killer. You know what I mean? He's just like, I can bring you in warm. I can bring you in cold. You know what I mean?
Hey, listen, like, that line hooked me on the show. Like soon when he did that, I was like, all right, I'm good. I can watch this. This is good. This is good.
And then he has that reputation to just like, you know, and I was kind of conflicted. That first season was kind of throwing me off a little bit because I was like, okay, this is his character. But then he meets up with this kid, the little baby, and then he's like breaking his code for him and doing all this stuff. And I'm like, how's he getting these? He gets like these strong attachments to these kids. And so I wish they would almost explore a little bit of his backstory or upbringing from when he was like a foundling, so we can see kind of like, okay, what does he see in this kid that's making him almost break his, his way of life, his code. And then also that, like, the one episode that always gets me on that first episode, and it's the one the first season, was that the forest planet, where he almost lets the lady take off his helmet, and I'm just like, this ain't your character. Like, how you almost let this woman take off your helmet? Like, you didn't fall in love with this woman in one day or whatever, how many days he was on that planet floor. But it was just one of those things, like, just stay with me. And then he wasn't like,
it was? You know what it was, P. Rich? He had been dry for so long. He just he smelled water in the air. He was like, all right, maybe.
Well, it's just so crazy, because then he's like almost getting his helmet taken off, but then he's like going up to the marshal. Where'd you get this armor from? And he's like, like, you know what I mean? He's just like guns blazing everybody for wear, Mandalorian armor. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But he almost let this lady in this this backwood village take his helmet off, and so it's just like, what?
It's going to be interesting. But to your point though, it's going to be interesting how they position Boba Fett, because Jango, based on the Clone Wars, Jango's not a Mandalorian. Like, he was allegedly born on Concord Dawn, but like the leadership of Mandalore don't claim him as a Mandalorian. Like, he's not part of their code.
Yeah.
So he's gonna be the main villain against the Mando. He's got to be. I'd like to see that. Yeah.
I mean, I want him to go back to being a bounty hunter and being that dude. Like, but I don't know. I am definitely curious to see how they handle Boba.
Back to P. Rich's point, with the Mando and the child, there's definitely something there to explore, just because of that whole connection between him and the child using the Force, and Ahsoka deciding that, like, he's too emotionally attached to you to train.
Let's get into that a little bit, because like so they sit together with the child, like, and she is reading his thoughts. Like, she's not physically talking to the child, like, she's just reaching out with the Force to feel what the child is thinking, and she's gathering all this information. Like, she learns his name, she learns that, like, he was a youngling in the temple during like the Order 66. And I'm like, yo, what? Like,
I just envisioned
so depth of that character, man.
And it's so funny, because I just envisioned them when they were just sitting there and they were just shaking their head. Some reason I just pictured them on this cloudy plane in their minds, and they're both floating in front of each other, like, my name is so and, you know what I mean? They're just talking in regular English, and they're just sitting there, and while they're doing that Force, they're in like a Force like plane, and just like
they up on Snake Way.
Yeah,
Snake Way. Yeah.
They're just like, and they're just talking, and they just like, but that's how I envisioned that scene, is that them were like, they were in like in their minds, they were in a different plane talking with each other, which is, I thought that was funny. I thought that was pretty good.
Yeah, and we get the name drop, we get the reveal, Grogu.
Oh yeah. Grogu.
And when she says it, because like, all right, here's like, it leaked earlier this week that we were going to get the name, and that was his name.
I missed that.
Bro, no, the whole plot of this episode leaked. It was on the internet. I didn't see.
Oh, was it? I didn't. Okay.
Someone put it in the Den of Nerds Discord, and I didn't click on the link, but I had seen on the internet someone had tweeted like Grogu was the child's name, and like at first I was like, I don't know about that, but then when I heard Ahsoka say it, I was like, all right, I'm good with that. Like, it sounded, when she said it, it made it feel like someone in the Yoda species would be named that. Like, you got Yoda, you got Yaddle, and Grogu. Like, it kind of fits.
2-syllable name. I mean, it goes.
Grogu. My only thing, but also I kept imagining for this episode, I don't know if I'm skipping far ahead, but it was like, when it was just like, I just kept envisioning the kid Grogu growing up, being a little bit taller, like Yoda's height, but in Mandalorian
that
armor,
man's 2 feet 2 inches,
2 feet armor, like Mandalorian armor, fucking just force choking
that would
people
be crazy.
bounty hunter force wielder, like you know what I mean?
Oh man,
just like messing people up, like
Grogu with Beskar armor, flying with a jetpack.
Armor. That's flying with a jetpack on. And so that was like my thought was like, I was just like, oh man, wouldn't that be cool if he just became like, you know, because based on what we're learning about Mandalorian, or like, you know, it's just a creed. You know what I mean? Anybody could be a Mandalorian. So that was what I was thinking, that this kid could be a Mandalorian when he grows up. He could just like easily put on a helmet, get trained in the ways, but also develop his force powers. You know what I mean? And then like he's using a pistol and people are shooting at him. And you know, my favorite ability on Star Wars
shooting out kneecaps.
My favorite ability is when people when they do fire blasters at people when they're shooting lasers, and then they just pause the blaster in the air and then they throw it back at him. So I love that. Like if he's just one of those people where he's like, they're like, oh, you don't have a gun, and then he just like stops all the blast and just like sends it back at everybody. That'd be an awesome show to watch.
That'd be cool to see.
Yeah.
We also in that moment, because Ahsoka does. So she's like, I can't train, because like in that moment, like she can't connect with the child to get it to take the rock, and Din is able to, because he sees like Din is a father figure to him. Like so there's that once again the attachment and the connection. And like when she says like I've seen what these types of attachments can do to a Jedi Knight, even the best of us, I was like, yo, that I got low-key emotional, because I was like, yo, she's talking about Anakin, like because that's exactly who she's talking about. Like
I'm glad she decided not to train him, because it
and if
it would have been easy, it would have been too easy. That's that would have been the easy part, because then you would have even if she did decide to train him, then you would have been like, what are these 2 next episodes going to be about? You know what I mean? That could have been also where you would have been like, hold on, what's these last 2 episodes going to be about then?
And like, if you y'all haven't seen Rebels, right?
No, I haven't seen Rebels. No.
Okay, because like
outside of like the first,
because there's something in Rebels that will add to that moment of when she says that about the Jedi, and like because we know there's a fact that she is talking about Anakin, and I'm not going to spoil it, but like there's a key moment in Rebels where that is a significant point for her in her character.
Oh, so Star Wars. Okay, I've seen this. Okay, I'm just looking it back up. I started watching. This is about this guy. Okay, I'm looking it up right now. All right.
Yeah, gotcha. Ezra Bridger Kanan, man, like that was a great show. I love that show. I like that show better than Clone Wars, even though season 7 was great. But to me, from start to finish, Rebels was a better show.
Gotcha.
Stronger show. I think they knew.
And this takes place between.
Rebels is after episode 3.
It's
and
like
before episode 4.
It's about 4 or 5 years out from episode 4. Like this is like the beginning of the Rebel Alliance information. Like,
okay, gotcha.
At this point in time, the Rebel Alliance does not exist, but there are a bunch of Rebel cells around the galaxy that are starting to form and create a form of resistance against the Imperial occupation of worlds. And they've what is it? I think it's a delegation of 1,000. Can't remember, but there is a select number of senators in the Imperial Senate that have begun to secretly back these Imperial cells through back channels. They're starting to fund some of these Rebel cells to cause havoc.
Delegation of 500, I think.
Delegation of 500, yeah, and the Phoenix Cell, Rebels follows the Phoenix Cell which is based on Lothal, but it's a really good series. But from the show, you see
Captain Rex,
bro. There's a lot of cameos in that show, bro. It's a lot in that show. It's a great show.
Wow, this is crazy. Yeah, I'm looking at some of the episodes. It's like
so the clones they have that age accelerant in it. to help them so that they.
So how many years after Clone Wars then? So because between that, it has to be what, at least 20 something years because of how old Luke is.
It's about so I think Ezra. So Ezra was born on Empire Day, which is like a couple months after Order 66. So he's about 15 or 16 when the show starts. So it's about 15 or 16 years after Revenge of the Sith.
Okay, so 16 years after the Revenge of the Sith.
This is the height of the Imperial
gotcha.
regime.
So it's 16 years after, 5 years before New Hope. Okay, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, because Ezra, Luke, and Leia are the exact same age. I think they're a month apart in age.
Gotcha.
And so they're
So when Ahsoka denies training Grogu, she tells him to take him to the Seeing Mountain on Tython.
Yeah.
Is that it? So what is that planet?
Yeah.
Bro. All right, so this right here, I'm not gonna lie to you. This is the biggest reveal. This is why I gave this episode a 10. It would have been like a 9.5, 9.75. But the Tython name drop. The fact that we're going to go to Tython is like, I would have never imagined in a million years that we were going to Tython. But Tython is in the EU.
That
Tython
is extended universe.
Correct. That's the ancestral homeworld of the Jedi Order. There were these large spaceships. Like this is like 30,000 years before A New Hope. In this time period, like this is the old Republic, right? There are these spaceships called the Thoyor, which we don't know the origin of, but they landed on different planets around the galaxy, and like they were force sensitive. These ships were, and they attracted force sensitive beings to these ships. And then it was like there were 9 of them in total, and once the ships were to capacity, they all launched from these planets and all gathered above Tython. And on the highest mountain, on the highest ridge, is where the one of the main Thoyor ship settled down, and that was the foundation of the first Jedi Temple. And so all of these Force scholars and sages began to learn about the light and dark side of the Force on this planet of Tython. Tython is also Tython has 2 moons, Ashla and Bogan. Ashla is the light side of the Force, and Bogan is the dark side of the Force, and they orbit the planet to keep the planet in perfect balance with the Force. So these Force sages have to learn how to use the Force in balance in order to keep the planet from tearing itself apart. Okay. And I'm like, we're going here.
Are they stuck there trying to keep it in balance?
Initially, yeah. I'm going to do a video on Tython and the history of Tython, so that we can, and that'll go up on the channel this week.
Let's get that.
Explaining just the
give
history
us this context.
Yeah, because it's the Force Wars are the first, what you could call the first war between the Jedi and Sith. Like, and in this time period, there were no lightsabers. Like they had these Force imbued weapons, vibro blades that would kind of glow with like blue or green or red, depending on your alignment with the Force. And so, like, yeah, it was I think they called them katanas though in the show, or not in the show, but in that time period. Once again, so but after the Force Wars, that's what spawned the Jedi Order, and this is when also the Republic contacts the Jedi for the first time, and then the Jedi eventually agree to join the Republic. And the Force scholars believed initially that the planet Tython was the only place that they could use their powers. With the Force powers. And then they eventually, they thought that was the only planet they could use it. So they were kind of isolationists, and they only stayed there. But then I can't remember what happened. I think there's a conflict that happens out in the same system, and they go to another planet, and they can still use the Force on that other planet, and then they realize that it's not tied to Tython.
Yeah, I mean that's a lot to pull from. So
that's a lot of like lore right there.
Yeah.
So There's also a location in Star Wars: The Old Republic. If you play the Jedi Knight or Consular class, like you see that mountain. It's where you craft your lightsaber for the first time.
Is that what was on the game, the video game?
Yeah, the Last Order,
Fallen Order.
No, not Fallen Order. In Star Wars: The Old Republic. Because if you're a Jedi,
I was thinking about that ice planet.
No, that's Ilum.
Yeah. So what's the terrain like on Tython?
It's like a forest type of.
You know what? I think I know it because I played the Sith, and I think I went to that planet and like got destroyed by a bunch of Jedi's. Once like I was in PvP mode. You talk about the MMO version, right? When you go to
it's that's their home world. That's the Jedi home.
Yeah.
So yeah, like that was an amazing name drop for the show. The fact that they're going to Tython, because that is for forever before the Disney era. That was the home world of the Jedi. That's always been the home world, Tython. And then they eventually moved to Ossus, and then they built their temple on Coruscant, and then they relocated to Coruscant. But yeah, so there is a temple on Tython. They don't say it's the ancestral homeworld of the Jedi. I think Octu is now the ancestral homeworld, which I don't know. I still don't understand why they did that, because all you had to do was use Tython. It was there. It was there available for you. Ossus is the other homeworld. That's their second location, and that looks just like Jeddah from Rogue One. Like Ossus and Jeddah look exactly the same. I thought it was Ossus until they revealed the name, and I was like, oh, okay. Right. Fake me out again.
Yeah, man. So yeah, she recommended him go there, and then I can't remember what happened right after that.
No, that was at the end. That was at the end. We skipped. So we skipped. So we back. So basically, they tried to do the whole force, do the rock thing, and he was able to get him to grab the little ship knob, and she's like, I can't train him, and then she lied to him.
He never got him to take the rock. Either.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So, he just wanted, and it's just like it's one of those things like. He didn't want the rock, but then it's like he just wants what he wants. The kid wants, you know what I mean? It's not really like, oh, he's listening to you. Like he's gonna do what he wants to do, really. You know what I mean? It's that adolescence, you know what I mean?
If you want to eat some baby eggs, he's gonna eat some baby eggs.
Some baby eggs. He's gonna keep doing it regardless. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So
he gonna take your macaroons and you ain't saying nothing about it.
He even and Mando even said something about it.
Eat him in your face.
Yeah, he's gonna eat him right in your face and then throw up about it.
And then throw him up later.
Yeah. But he even said it. He's like, he doesn't listen to me. You know what I mean? He even said that line. He was just like,
I mean, he kind of does just do his own thing. Like he don't really. Yeah. But and then so he and Ahsoka agree to team up and take down the magistrate, and that's kind of sort of the agreement. Like if I help you take down the magistrate, then you'll agree to take Baby Yoda or Grogu. And
which I must say that next sequence wasn't. I thought when they said that, I agree to take, let's work together and do that. There wasn't really much working with, you know what I mean? It's like, and it was just this whole Ahsoka shine moment, again, her own sequence, her doing everything else. Because what did he do? He just jetpatted in.
I mean, this is her episode.
Yeah, and that's what. And it was really, he didn't do anything. So that's why I was also saying, like, this is technically her pilot. How it was shot, how everything turned out. It was just like he was the side character, really. You know what I mean? Because he didn't really even do anything at the end. I mean, like he kept that one dude at bay and shot him. He's just like
he had a couple cool shots where he pulled his pistol out.
And he saved the villagers that were in the electric cages, which that was wild. That's such a video game thing.
Yeah, where they were sitting.
That was one of the But one of the coolest shots was after he saved them, and he had his little standoff with the dude. Over his shoulder was Ahsoka standing on the roof.
Oh yeah.
That scene, that was a dope scene. That was a dope scene.
Yeah. Oh, another Easter egg. They had HK droids.
Oh yeah, HK. Yeah. Those are from the nice. Yeah, the nice. Yeah.
They're from KOTOR.
Yeah.
KOTOR.
Because you can get one of them. He's like a Sith one or a bad one. You know what I mean? He's always trying to kill people and everything like that. Yeah.
So the original droid is HK47 is the orange. It's the orange droid that calls everybody meat bags.
Yeah, meat bags. Yeah.
He calls everybody meat bags. All the humans.
Yeah.
And in SWTOR, you got the next iteration is the HK51 unit, and both players can get this if you play for the Empire or the Sith. Like there's a or the Empire or the Republic. There's a quest that you can do to get an HK51 assassination droid. And these are HK87 units. So like it's once again showing progression. They're still paying homage to the EU with the continuation. Like it's not an HK47 unit. Like so these have been in production for a while. So like that opens up the door now for like
what was it? What was this number?
87.
It was 47. It was 87 in this one.
In this one, 87.
It was 87. So they've been around because they've been around
for a minute since the Old Republic. Yeah, man. That also was a good moment. I had the subtitles up, and so like, I think one of the droids spoke, and it said HK87. I was like, "Yo, get out of here!" Like they got HKs.
Yeah,
they got HK units, man.
Yeah, that was a good moment. Like that whole scene. Again, I just liked her. Like I said, like it was. What was so funny about this episode is that like she gave her that one day type of thing, but it's just like, why didn't you just jump over that wall? At the beginning when she's like standing at the wall, she's just like, tell me what I want. I would have just force grabbed her right off of that cliff right in my head. It would have been like, you coming with me? You know what I mean?
Dragging her through the smoke.
I was about to say that we go turn Ahsoka to the dark side in the first episode.
That's funny.
Like at this point, you've been living in the outer. You've been surviving, and it's just like you gotta.
You know what I think it was?
Yeah,
I think that was her first time attacking that spot, and she was just getting a feel of what she had to be up against. So she was probably giving her the day to plan her attack.
And that's where it kind of threw me off a little bit about that because.
But the thing too about that too, she did threaten to. It wasn't that Ahsoka could have took them out easily, but she threatened to kill the villagers inside, and that was the thing that was like, all right, well, change of strategy, like for Ahsoka.
But then I just didn't understand that whole simple that at the end, the older Asian gentleman who it just seemed like they knew each other, they were working together almost like. Probably. They had known each other at some point. They had that like familiar, like they like, you know what I mean? It wasn't like, oh my God, this is somebody new to me. Like this, it felt like she had knew this person and she knew that that lady wasn't supposed to be there, over, in that town. I just didn't. I don't know. Yeah. I didn't know that backstory of it.
That's where I kind of like if y'all seen Rebels. There would be some context, not that we've seen this person before, but it would give some context as to how she's been moving through the galaxy through this time period. Like that'll kind of because we've never seen this person before. I don't know what her connection is, what his connection is to her, and vice versa. But through Rebels, we see how she's able to kind of exist in the galaxy low key during this time period. So I wouldn't be surprised if she's made several different connections.
Just friends. Gotcha.
You kind of see hints of it in season 7 of the Clone Wars, like when the first Ahsoka's first arc after the Bad Batch arc. We see Ahsoka,
and what a great batch that is. Bad Batch
being a citizen, like, but she's going around like, and she's making alliances and making friends and like just getting familiar with different groups of people, being a real Jedi for like, you know what I'm saying? Like, which that's a lot of people don't like that part of the season 7. I love that part of the season 7 for that reason, because it's like we through the Clone Wars we realized that like the Jedi aren't the best versions of themselves. Like they've committed entirely to this war, and they've kind of sort of forgotten about the common people, the people that they're there to protect and to defend. And like she's reminded of that through that arc, which is why for me it wasn't
and she says something about that, right? She talks about that.
They address
also.
it directly. Like
they
because they don't even like the Jedi. Like they were basically, something happens and
nobody's there to help them.
Yeah, when the Jedi should have been there, they weren't. And it's kind of like, yeah, you've been occupied with a galactic war, like you. So
yeah. I saw Donnie said Kyle Reese from the Terminator. That was the dude that was kind of the magistrate's right hand.
Oh yeah, that was him. Oh yeah.
Yeah, good call out, Donnie.
Yeah.
What's up, Sith? Yeah.
No spoilers.
We're gonna get
spoilers.
Into this. We're gonna get into that a little bit.
What up, Sith? Yeah, man.
The magistrate, I'm assuming, or Ahsoka.
Probably the magistrate.
Yeah, the magistrate is a former Imperial
employee.
Would you say, asset
Imperial manager.
Contractor.
She's on the corporate leadership team.
She's a contractor for the Empire.
Yeah.
She built from what it revealed is she built a lot of the Imperial war fleet.
You know what? To be honest, why would she even settle on a boring, nasty planet?
I was thinking that. I was like, what's the purpose?
If you're making all this money.
Let's get into this Thrawn thing. Because that was
how much though? How much though? Because
yeah, you need to finish that trilogy, because I'm not gonna spoil anything from the books. But listen, everybody watching, I highly recommend you go check out that Thrawn trilogy from Timothy Zahn. Let me see.
Is that a comic book?
No, it's a novel.
A novel, okay.
Are you familiar with Grand Admiral Thrawn?
No, is he in Rebels? Is that?
He is in Rebels, but are you familiar? So you're not familiar with the character?
That's it right there.
Okay.
So Thrawn is from the EU. They reincorporated. They brought him back into canon through Rebels, but back in the 90s when this character was first introduced, he was part of the Imperial remnant. And if you remember, the Empire was extremely xenophobic and racist, basically, towards all alien species. Like they didn't allow aliens into their ranks at all. He was an exception. But this dude is basically like Sherlock Holmes and Spock merged into one character. And he was a strong adversary for the rebellion at that time and the New Republic. Like he almost single-handedly toppled the New Republic with the Imperial remnant because he took command of it as Grand Admiral. The dude he's that dude. Like he is up there for a lot of people with Vader and the Emperor as far as like his impact. But yeah,
he got that.
But they've reintroduced him into canon, and he's got his story is a little different because in the 90s his story took place basically after Return of the Jedi.
Okay.
This version, most of it takes place before A New Hope.
So giving them a longer span of like how he probably raised through the ranks and stuff. Okay.
But it's different. He's not in the Empire for the same reasons he was in before. Like this version of Thrawn is loyal to his people, the Chiss species, and they are in the unknown regions of the galaxy, in an area as they call the Chaos. This is a region of the galaxy that is very hard to navigate through hyperspace. There was a cataclysmic event where a chain reaction of supernovas basically cut this area of space off from the rest of the galaxy. But the Chiss have a huge empire beyond that exists in the ascendancy. Oh, not in the ascendancy, but in the Chaos. It's an oligarch.
The oligarchy.
there are 9 ruling families. He's a member of the myth.
Mm-hmm.
And
that's where Jon Snow came from.
and he meet oh god, no, I can't even say that. That's a spoiler. Gosh, you got to read the trilogy because there's
no spoilers. I don't want no mayonnaise on my burger, Coop.
He's around during the Clone Wars. He meets a key character.
And this is in the book you're reading. This is what you have to read.
And this is canon. Like this is canon.
Okay.
Like this is a part. This is a part
Okay.
of the story. So like this isn't like ancillary. This is a very key.
So he meets Palpatine. Okay, go ahead, continue.
But he's working for. This is prior to.
He does meet
this during the Clone Wars. This is during the Clone Wars. This first interaction, and he goes back into the Ascendancy after this meeting.
Okay.
Because there is this very dangerous and real threat that is in the chaos that the Chiss are facing, and there's a real risk that the Ascendancy can be toppled by this threat.
Okay.
And
Palpatine said he'll get rid of him, and you know.
Well, after the Clone Wars ends, Thrawn is sent as basically a spy into the Imperial space, and he's captured and is taken to the Emperor, and he convinces the Emperor that an alliance between the Ascendancy and the Empire is going to be best for both parties. And the Emperor agrees to allow him into the Imperial military, and he quickly ascends to the rank of Grand Admiral. That's the synopsis up to
so that's point. So that's the new version of.
That's the new version.
What's the old version? I want to hear the old version. Like, what's the craziness?
The old version is he had to work his. It's basically the same, but his loyalties were different. Like he was loyal to the Emperor and to the Empire completely.
Okay,
like
gotcha.
So when after Return of the Jedi, like he is the one that basically rounded up the Imperial remnant and rallied them to his command, because he's a different type of leader. And
so who's Moff Gideon? Is Moff Gideon in none of the books, or is this a Mandalorian character?
This is a Mandalorian character.
Mandalorian.
This is brand new.
Okay, gotcha. But because that's my biggest thing on this whole show is that they introduced this Moff Gideon character, and I'm like, I want more backstory. I need more backstory, because every time he has a very strong.
Yeah, Gideon reminds me a lot of the EU version of Thrawn, and how he's moving through the galaxy at this point in time. Like he's not. Thrawn had considerably a lot more
old
resources.
version. The old version of Thrawn. Okay, gotcha.
Like, here's the Thrawn. Like Thrawn's character has not changed at all. It's just his loyalties have changed. That's it. But he's basically the same person in both series. In canon now, he's just loyal to his people more so than the Empire is. Like he believes that the Empire was at the time the best option to forge an alliance outside of his part of space. So that's why he did what he did, but he would never reveal whether or not where his true loyalties lied to the Emperor and to Vader.
Gotcha.
Strategically. But that's all I can really say without getting into any.
Vader sensed that shit though. Vader knew. He was like, I know something's wrong with this. I know something wrong with him. I don't like him.
So
they actually met before. Well, yeah.
I wouldn't. I wasn't gonna spoil that because that was a key. So spoilers. Now that it's out there, he met Anakin Skywalker during the Clone Wars.
Before Vader, before he was Vader.
Yeah, and then they team up later.
How many people know exactly who Vader is prior to being Vader? Because it just seems not many people. That's what I mean. Like the people just think that Vader.
They think Anakin died in Order 66.
Everyone believes that Anakin is dead.
That's what. Okay, gotcha.
The only people that know are, the only people that are supposed to know are the Emperor and Tarkin.
Okay,
they're really
but obviously, Obi-Wan, everybody, Luke, and everybody knows.
Obi-Wan finds out later because Obi-Wan thinks he died on Mustafar, but he finds out later.
I
think we're going to see that in the series.
In the series,
have it in him to kill him. He just was going to let him burn alive.
Yeah.
That's what a brother
Now,
do. See how a brother
here's,
do? Just
but no, here, well,
you
here's an interesting tidbit about how Theron could be positioned in this part and during this time period. Like he's forged this alliance with this person who helped to build the Imperial fleet, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Empire, I would say the Chiss ascendancy is basically like the ancient Chinese dynasties that were very isolationist. They had like very few people they ever traded with, and even fewer that they let into their empire, into their walls, into their society. The Chiss operate the same way, but because of that, they've got some deficiencies in technology. Like that area of space doesn't have the same hyperdrive technology that the known galaxy has. They don't have the same shield technology that the known galaxy has. My theory is that he has forged an alliance with her to help the Chiss ascendancy build a better fleet. I wouldn't be surprised if we see like the Chiss with a different version of an Imperial Star Destroyer out in the ascendancy. I think that's what she's probably doing. Like she's helping Theron build a fleet for the the magistrate.
In this book, is it going to cover him during New Hope and why Ahsoka is hunting him? So like
that answer you'll have to watch Rebels for. The ascendancy book,
but Rebels takes place 4 years before New Hope, so
there's a thing that happens in Rebels that
makes her that makes her be like, okay, this is why I'm chasing him for it. So that grudge is like, how many years is New Hope and New Hope between the Return of the Jedi? Is that a couple of that's not
it's like 3 or 4 years.
3 or 4 years. So she's been hunting him for 4 years all the way hold on. Longer than that because it's longer than that because Mandalorian takes place 5 or 6 years after the Empire fell?
Yeah, 6 years.
Yeah.
So
she's just hunting. Yeah, okay. So he's been active that long.
Yeah, but there's a Well, he's been a part of the Empire since like a couple months after Revenge of the Sith.
Well, yeah, I mean, but in terms of like what he's done to her and whatever he's doing between those 10 years of, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know what happens. Like, but it's that would be literally spoiling the end of
no.
I
know. Well, yeah, I know that, but I mean, like.
Did we lose him?
Oh, technical difficulty. Frozen in time.
It's frozen.
You got the Han Solo treatment.
Yeah. Second Street Marvel, what's going on?
What's happening? What up?
Glad you could join us.
Yeah, man. Yeah, this is all good. This whole episode, man.
It was a great episode. Yeah, there's so much that we really don't know about Theron's whereabouts in this moment. In time, but I feel like so there are some things that revealed about the Grisk. We'll get Parko back in a minute.
Yeah, he said his laptop restarted. He probably had to charge it off.
Gotcha.
But y'all mentioned Moff Gideon at one point, and it had me thinking about his character, and it reminds me of, this is a little silly, his character reminds me of the Sheriff of Nottingham. He's like, that's him. He's the Sheriff of Nottingham, bro.
That's a Goji. yeah. It kind of, I can see that that comparison.
So I'm like, I want to see who he reports to now, because I'm like, all right, there's a top dog out here.
Yeah, I feel like he's reporting to the Emperor. I think he knows the Emperor is alive out in the unknown. Because like the only reason I say that is because of the color scheme of his outfit with the black and the red, because that's the final order color scheme and palette. Like all of the officers had that the black suits with the red trim, and his cape is like his entire outfit is black, and then the lining of his cape is red. So that's what I feel like. I think he has more connections to the Empire, to the Emperor, and the First Order and the Final Order than he does with Thrawn.
I can dig
That's my
that.
theory, and
I
would agree. No, you good, man. You good.
You good. You
Technical
live.
difficulties. Yeah. Like I think that the Thrawn connection is a misdirect, because I think that's going to set up another series out in the unknown regions. Because I think
might
I
set
want to
up
say that the Thrawn,
like a whole Thrawn series.
It could. It would probably take place in the Chiss Ascendancy. I would much prefer to see that than, because I read, after reading the Ascendancy novel and learning more about the Chiss and that Ascendancy, they're a far more efficient version of the Empire, and they're not inherently evil. They're just they're just isolationists for the most part. Like they will their internal fighting and their politics and all of that, they do their own thing, but they're not like you know how
they got their own Game of Thrones
in the fleet. If you mess up, basically Vader or somebody's gonna kill you. There's a lot of backstabbing and maneuvering and people being like betrayed and all of that. Like that doesn't happen in the Ascendancy. Like it's a little more not, I don't know what, I guess friendly.
We'll buy an adjective for 500, please.
I guess it's the better working environment, I'll say.
No.
Than the Empire. You know what I'm saying? Like you get rewarded for hard work. Like if you're the best at what you do, if you're the best at what you do, you're gonna get rewarded. You're gonna rise up in the ranks, unless like there's family politics that might hinder your progression through the ranks. But like I'd much rather deal with that than like Vader like getting pissed and cutting my head off because
force choking you out
space too close. right.
Yeah.
Right.
That man, that'd be good to see.
Killed
man.
his own
that'd
admiral because he jumped out of hyperspace too close to the health system. Like it's like, wow, okay.
Yeah, he got some anger issues, man. Just like,
Hey, as soon as he woke up, you know that what the Emperor tell him, P. Rich?
He was just like, you killed her in your anger. I mean, he does. He got some anger management he needs to work on. I mean, the first time you saw it was when he was on episode 2, where he went and I slaughtered them all.
Oh, hey, yo, that's like
not
still
just the men, but the women, and the children. I slaughtered them like animals.
Yo, and then next scene, she sleeps with him. That's crazy.
Exactly.
Yo, she's just like, you killed all of them.
Yeah,
she felt that. She's like, I need that.
It's so funny that Padme's way of thinking. You think she's all about life, but then she thinks about. It's like she didn't care about the women and children of the of Tusken rioters or any of those guys, but she cared about the younglings that he slaughtered in the Jedi temple. But you killed younglings? Like, this is her first outrage of that, and it's like, he slaughtered women.
It was almost like she the fact that he would go that far to like avenge someone he loved. She was like, I think. Yeah, that turned her on.
It did. She was like, all this masculine energy, I need it.
I just, it just didn't make any sense to me. It's just like she was okay with killing those women and children, but like once white kids started getting killed, she's like, you crossed the line. All right, Anakin. You killing white kids now? Nuh-uh.
She was the Karen of the universe.
Yeah, she's the Karen of the universe. Like you could kill alien kids and women, but you can't come here and kill us. Yeah, that's where I'm drawing the line, Anakin.
Oh my lord!
Oh man, connections.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh man, yeah.
Too funny. You killed her.
So yeah, I mean,
It's killed her.
So the last bit too. Well, we got 10 minutes. Before they depart, and Ahsoka tells them that they can go to Tython to go to the Seeing Stone on top of the mountain, and that a Jedi may reach out to them. Like, you literally just implied that Luke Skywalker is going to pop up in this show.
Yeah, I mean, but that would be awesome, right? I mean, like, they have the de-aging technology to, you know, I mean, it would be I would love to see that. I would love to see Mark Hamill back and voicing, you know what I mean? That would be amazing.
I would love to see Luke come on back.
Young Luke.
Well,
yeah, I would love to see him in the black suit, you know,
we got to get Luke. Yeah, we need to get his on-screen redemption, because
for real,
new sequels, that was absolute trash.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
They killed his legacy in the sequels.
Well, now,
and I'm not even a super Luke Skywalker fan, but like, I totally was like, yo, they just destroyed this man's legacy in this.
Now,
in this movie.
Would you be mad if, like, okay, he reached out, he did the whole thing, he did the Force, and then Luke comes up, takes the kid, but then you find out that Ben Solo kills the kid and everybody in his escape when he destroys the Jedi temple. So it's like, you know,
technically, so Ben didn't kill all of the apprentice.
The apprentice, okay.
Yeah, and he technically didn't tear down the temple. That Snoke did all of that. That was.
I still don't understand that, Paul. I don't
understand that. None of it ever happened. It was all a dream. It was all a dream.
There are still, even if Luke does take him as an apprentice, like, there's still a possibility that he would have survived the sacking of the temple. But then that would also mean that he's now survived 2 purges.
You know who could come take him as an apprentice? If he gets him on the Seeing Mountain, right? And then the Force is a broadcast of his Force energy. And she said that some Jedi will be able to sense him. This would be a good way to bring back Mace Windu.
Oh yeah, he'd be old though.
Hey, what else? He was like,
if he was like 50, he would be like 80 something. But hold on, the way Black people are portrayed, we don't know if Black people are some type of alien species in Star Wars. You know what I mean? We don't know if there's like a whole planet of Black people who just, they age differently and gracefully and everything like that. You know, we just don't know. We don't know, like, I mean, yeah, he's a human, but like, that's known, right? He's a human, but you know, they can be all from. But how many Black people do you see running around Star Wars? You know, in general. So I mean, like, it could be that there could be So it could be that he's in a planet of, like, there could be a planet of Black people, you know, chilling around. You know,
I would love to see that. You know,
got his home world, and I think Grand Admiral Ray Sloan too. I thought there would be a connection between Ray Sloan and Finn, but they didn't do that either, because I mean, Ray Sloan basically became Thrawn in the new canon, because she led the Imperial Remnant. Like, she was the first leader of the First Order, and I thought that they would have had a Finn connection with her in some capacity, but that never came to be. But I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. Luke Skywalker is not completely off the table, but Cal Kestis isn't either. Like, we don't know what his fate is. He could definitely be alive and around during this time period.
How old would he be? He would be like 30 years older, right?
He'd be 30. Because what is he? 20? He was in his late teens.
I think so. He
was in his early 20s.
Solo are about the same age. Yeah, they have to be. Han Solo would be about the same age.
Yeah.
So he'd be in his 40s too, probably 30s, 40s.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. 40s.
I mean, so you know,
because they ended order.
No, actually, now that I think about it, because the game takes place 3 or 5 years after the.
Well, he's a young kid in the so he's a young kid in the purge. So he's what, like 7 or 8 or something.
I was like he's like 9 or 10.
And
we got Earth's database right here. Let me look it up.
Yeah, Fallen Order ended perfectly. It set it up for a sequel, but it could just be saying that he's just out there in the universe. They may never do it.
He was 12 years old during the Purge, and he's 17 in the game.
There's going to be a sequel game?
Yeah, they're turning that into a franchise. They're going to be multiple games and probably spin-offs of that.
Yeah, I love that because that Dark Souls, I love that Dark Souls style where it's like, spawn in an area, you have to kill, and then I love that whole gameplay. I'm a big fan.
Yeah.
And so I just, I was waiting for DLC. I was like, man, I hope they do some DLC because they just left this kind of open, and I'm ready for it, man. Give me 4 more of those games.
Need a sequel to that game.
I don't think they were anticipating the reception. I know they pumped a lot of money into the game and development, but I don't think they thought it was going to be as well received as it.
Oh, dude, that's a near perfect. Yeah, that's a near perfect Star Wars game. I mean, like when you play that game on hard, it really makes you mad. Like I'll put the game down. I'm like, okay, I gotta take some time and then come back to it. And it just makes you just think. I love that. It like I said, it makes you really feel like if you put it on the hardest difficulty, it makes you really feel like you're this newbie Jedi. You know what I mean? You're just your training was cut off in the middle. You know what I mean? And you're just now you have to like kind of just train yourself / you have this one person who's kind of helping you guide you and stuff like that. I mean, I love it. It's just a great game.
Yeah, I've gone through that campaign like 3 different times.
I kind of want to go back through it again now that there's been a lot of cosmetic things. Like I want to play with. I heard they added the red lightsaber. I kind of want to go back through play with a red lightsaber and things like that. And yeah,
I thought they added his Inquisitor outfit too. I think they did.
I think I heard something about that too. I would love to go back and play through that, but I love the.
There's a mod out now for PC that will turn you into Din Djarin and you get the Darksaber.
Oh, that's tight. I love to play.
Yeah,
dude. I just
that came out this week.
Imagine if they did make a Mandalorian a really good. I mean, they already made that Boba Fett game for PlayStation. I downloaded that again because you can get that on PS4. But imagine if they just repolished almost like the mechanics of the Arkham series, Batman. You know what I mean? But with the Mandalorian and stuff like that. That type of mechanics almost. And just you're just traveling through each planet and just like you're just hunting bounties and dude, I would totally love something like that.
That'd be a good game. The Mandalorian.
They could totally do that. I mean, and depending on the series, like on the time period they set it in, because if they set it in the Clone Wars period and you're playing like because there's different factions. You got the new Mandalorians that rule Mandalore, and then you've got the old Mandalorians and the Watch. You got Death Watch, and then you got the Watch, which is where that's where Din Djarin is from. But all of them became mercenaries and bounty hunters, and like if you were that would be a cool game to play during that time period of the Clone Wars, and then like how the galaxy shifted like after the Purge. That would be kind of cool.
Galactic GTA, exactly. Yeah,
that would be fire.
Yeah, exactly. That'd be awesome. I'm loving that. And so where are we ending this off at? We ending it. Let
me answer this too, because there's possibly there's another character from Rebels that Thrawn is
spoilers
with. At this time, I won't spoil anything for these wonderful viewers.
Man.
Yeah, well, shoot. Like I said, so in the past, right? In these past episodes, we talked about how like everything we've seen thus far has been in the trailer, and so we only saw footage from the first 4 episodes. We have no idea what's coming next. Like none of the footage was of this planet. We didn't see nothing. We didn't see anything. Like I don't know what's in these next 4 episodes. So we got
4 more to go. That's good. That's good.
Do we have 4 more to go? We had 3 more.
3 more. We got 3 more.
5, 6, 7, 8. Oh,
and damn. I don't know about you guys, but I get super excited when I see the minute count on these episodes. When I saw 47 minutes, I was like, yes, thank you. No 39 or 20 or 29 minutes, and I hate when they put those. And that's the one thing I hope for the new Kenobi series is that those episodes are over 40 minutes. I do not want this Kenobi. If it's only going to be 6 episodes, do not give me 29-minute episodes. That's like you shot a movie and you just cut it up and then you just, you made it into episodes. I don't want that.
Well, as long what the length has to serve the story that they're telling on the because because the Bo-Katan episode was a shorter episode, but to me it worked because it served the story. Like we got in like the combat and the action and the pacing of that whole episode. The length made sense because bruh, the combat in that, like that's some of the best, to me that was some of the best combat sequencing in Star
Well, that's
Wars.
what I mean. Like if it's an episode like that, but like those first 2 episodes, like I could have sworn that could have been a season premiere. You know what I mean? Like that, it could have just been this hour, and then because it just felt like it was like cut, and then they were like, all right, we got to end the episode right here, second episode, and then like it was just, it felt weird. It felt like that could have been one episode itself.
Yeah, to that point, I would say that they can't afford to have any filler episodes in that Kenobi series. Like everything has to be. You're basically like, let's say it's 6 hours worth of content in those episodes. Then like you need 6 hours of story. Like when episode 1 ends, we're picking up basically at the end point of episode 1 and going in episode 2. That's kind of how I want to see that one unfold.
Yeah, exactly.
So where did this episode end again? The ending, were they flying off in space?
Yeah, he's been quested to go to Tython, so he's got to go. And the ship isn't damaged. Nothing wrong with the ship.
Yeah, nothing wrong. He shouldn't have no problem.
He shouldn't have any issue going to Tython.
Well, my thing was this is what scared me at this end of this episode was that he was going he went back to the ship and they did this like kind of wide shot slow pushing to the ship at the end, and I'm like, fuck, Moff Gideon. You're just gonna see these black troopers just show up, and they come out of anywhere. And then I thought Ahsoka was gonna have one more like, you know what I mean? Like, and that's what I thought was gonna happen. So I mean, I could see something like, this happening at the beginning of the next episode where Moff Gideon and some TIE fighters are like on his ass. You know what I mean? Or and that was what was playing in my back of my mind this entire episode was that like, fuck, Moff Gideon is gonna go capture Ahsoka and try to drain her of her blood, and that was my whole, and then Mando was gonna have to save her, and that's where I was thinking. I was like, man, this is gonna be an intense episode, you know what I mean? Because the tracking devices in it, and I was just like, and that's what I was panicking about that entire time. And so for me to like, for him not to do anything this episode and just kind of let him see what he's doing, I don't know, but yeah, it was just kind of
Moff Gideon, he's Sheriff of Nottingham out there.
Yeah, I would say I think the next couple of episodes are going to be heavy with Moff Gideon.
It has to be.
This is the final act. We in the final act.
I mean, we theorized last week too that the Dark Troopers might be plated with Beskar.
That'd be awesome.
Which would, based on this episode, that would be quite a challenge for them to face, because that would be tough.
What wouldn't surprise me for these next 2 episodes would be next episode we don't even get a Mando episode. We get a just backstory of Moff Gideon, like completely just backstory, everything, a whole Moff Gideon episode. Then the final episode is him going to the planet, and it's like this final confrontation on Tathion, right?
You think the season will end with the child at the top of the Seeing Mountain, and it calls out, and we get a Jedi reveal?
No, probably not even that. It's just it ends like, we just get that cut. It's like almost like, have you guys seen Watchmen, where you think she's about to step on water and it cut, and it's like you might just get that hole where it's like
I mean, I would argue that it's possible what we'll see is so we know that they're tracking the Mando ship that was revealed at the end of last episode. So I think that we'll go straight to Tython next episode, and then that Moff Gideon will drop out of hyperspace, and his Quintans and those dark he will be flanked by those Dark Troopers. They're going to confront the Mando and the child. I think someone is going to sense that the child is in danger. That someone might be Luke or Cal.
Ahsoka.
I wouldn't be. It might be both, bro. It could, like, all of them.
It might be all 3.
I wouldn't be surprised. It might be all 3.
Wouldn't that be the craziest thing? All 3 of them just landed there, and they were just Oh my lord, people will lose their fucking mind. If all three Jedi, Luke as young young Luke, Ahsoka, like, you know what I mean? Like, that's what people want. They want to see that bridge right there. You know what I mean? Young Luke is, oh dude, that would be, oh my god, like, and then they'd be like, you train with Yoda? You know what I mean? They could have a little banter, like, yeah, I bet Yoda, you crazy, you know?
Hey, that'd be dope to see Luke pop up there at the end of that.
Yeah, I would. I think if we see Luke, it'll be in that final episode, and it'll be a teaser.
Yeah,
almost.
Yeah, and I mean, like,
I think I don't think we'll see Ahsoka again in this season though, because now that I think about it, based on
that pilot,
based on the final of Rebels and where all this kind of lines up, I don't think I don't know if she'll be back in the
I don't think we'll see her though, just because the way we've seen every other character.
The mission, that she's on, her mission is very important. So I don't see her showing back
popping back up. Yeah. My
now,
biggest thing is, are they set? You know, because the first season kind of set up that kind of thing where he met all these characters, and then at the end he went back for their help. Now, is it something like this? This is my thought. So this is my thought. So next episode, he gets to the planet. Moff Gideon takes the child, but somehow Mando survives.
Mm-hmm.
But then the next episode, he gets all his boys back. He gets the marshal back. He's like, here's I need your help. Here's the armor. He goes and gets, what's your name? The two thing. I'm blanking on it. No, Bo-Katan. Everybody we've seen pretty much. Cara from Cara Dune, and gets all of them. And then maybe he tries to find Ahsoka, but maybe he can't, and he's just like, okay, fuck, wash my hands of it type thing, and then bounces out. But maybe that's how the series things with this big like ascend on Moff Gideon, like it's just all like the Dirty Dozen type of thing, Magnificent Six, 7 or whatever. So
yeah, it would be interesting. I don't know how. I don't know. Well, we know that Bo is looking for Moff Gideon, so it's almost guaranteed that she's gonna pop up again.
Yeah.
Boba Fett would be interesting. Because Mando has his armor.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, man. This could go in a number of ways. Like we could get introduced to a whole new character in this next. Like I have no idea what's gonna happen next in this.
Luke could be on that mountaintop right now. Like at the end where he was walking, Luke's right there. Like,
if I'm not mistaken, during this time period, Luke has already gone to Tython. Like, cause you played in the Battlefront 2 campaign, he was like finding old Jedi relics and archives and learning more about it. Like he's on this mission to learn as much as he can about the Jedi. And I think he starts his temple like at some like around this time. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if he's already established his temple or if he's getting ready to start on that endeavor. But right now, and I think Cal Kestis is probably I wouldn't be surprised if they popped him in here either, because we don't know his fate. And he's a beloved character, and they made the smart decision in not killing him at the end of the game. So like he can totally pop in.
And that mission was scary.
That was a great final mission. That was great.
That was dope.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Great way to end that game.
They've clearly shown they have no qualms about pulling in characters from other source material, like from the EU or from the current canon, no matter what genre or platform. So I mean, Luke and Cal would be cool, because that would be a cool combo. I'm not gonna lie, that would be a cool combo. And then
if Cal Kestis pops up, you got to have Seer pop up. Seer pop up.
Cal would be interesting with that double-bladed lightsaber that he has. That can,
he would need teachers though, right?
That would be interesting.
Seer is his teacher.
Well, I mean, no, but Luke would need teachers. Like he just like how if you remember the old like Jedi Knights games where he had Kyle Katarn or whatever his name was, where he was like a teacher who where he would have all he would teach people. So it wouldn't be surprise me if they were like actual teachers or something teaching the new class of Jedi coming up.
The new Jedi.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be surprised. It wouldn't be beyond belief that they would do something like that. And in George's original script, he had a certain number of Jedi that joined Luke's temple to become that Jedi that survived Order 66 that helped him found his new Jedi temple. I still believe I believe strongly that Filoni has that script and he's been adapting some of that. And we could see elements of that pop in and out of the Filoniverse. It wouldn't shock me at all.
Yeah, because I just don't like the way that I don't like what they did with that new Jedi temple. How they just made that, they just demolished that thing so fast, and I was just like, ugh, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
wasted potential for a new TV show. Like that could have been like a whole series of like the new Jedi Order series or something like that. Because if you take that concept of if you played the Jedi Knight Academy game, okay, go ahead.
You got it.
I don't know if you're available on Sunday, but I've started doing Star Wars Sunday streams where it's kind of more casual conversation about Star Wars. We just run through any era, talk about anything. If you're available Sunday and you want to join the stream again, you are more than welcome to do that. I will be hosting that again this Sunday, and we can dive into all type of crazy stuff within this. This universe, JBM.
Yeah, I will be absent from that. My Sundays are normally my off days.
All right, yeah. Let's wrap this up. This good stopping point. Great conversation. Hate to end it like 10 minutes over.
Ahsoka is here. She's arrived.
Ahsoka. Yeah,
we got
chopping
Ahsoka,
them down. We got name drop Thrawn. We got Planet Tython.
Grand Admiral Thrawn.
The Sea and Mountain.
We got all of this stuff coming back in, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, so appreciate everybody for joining us tonight, man. It's been a fun stream. Show's been a great ride, man. We're in such a good space as a fandom again. Like everyone's happy to talk about Star Wars again. It's been great. Like been watching other streamers talk about
the great void.
Yeah, we seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. But yeah, appreciate you all for joining us tonight. We'll be back on tomorrow night for the cookout.
Peace.
Oh look, there's money right there. Boom. So the whole squad will be back tomorrow. I don't know what topics are right now, but we'll
we need to get all those out tomorrow together, man.
Yeah, man, we need those show notes. The money. Show notes. But yeah, so we'll have that 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow night. Be sure to come back to join us then. And without further ado, anybody else sign off?
Yeah, peace, man.
Yeah.
As I say, just be more.
Just be more.
This is the way.
Absolutely. As I always say, peace, love, blessings, and may the force be with you.